Hey guys, welcome back to Ultimate S&S. I hope everyone's having a great day. So today we're going to be looking at this current tracking of a storm system that's building up in the Gulf of Mexico. If this does develop into a hurricane, which you're kind of expecting it to, it will be Hurricane Danielle. So let's take a look at the charts and see what we've got forming up. So as of right now, it's looking like while it builds up, it's moving along the western side of the Gulf of Mexico. Is moving in a northwestern direction. They're expecting this to hit northern Mexico, possibly southern Texas, but not very. They're not really expecting it to come into America. It should just be hitting Mexico area, but they're expecting the actual storm situations in the Atlantic to get worse. So one of the things that keeps those down right now is the advanced wind shear that we have and kind of a drier air coming off of the western coast of Africa, but it looks like that's going away. So here's kind of how they determine when hurricane season is really going to pick up. With that drier air moving out and those wind shears that are breaking the storms up leaving, we can expect that we're going to actually start having more of our hurricanes develop off the coast of Africa, moving across the Atlantic. And that's typically where we start getting a lot of those high level 4s and 5 category type storms like Michael and Katrina that's hit in the past. So we're just going to have to keep an eye on it. They're expecting between 15 to 25 named storms still this year, and they expect about 7 to 8 of those should be category 4 or higher. Now, how many of those actually make landfall, we're not sure. That's just what their meteorologists are actually predicting. So we'll just have to wait and see how that's going to develop, obviously. But as we watch for storms down here, I'll try to get the news to the folks around here because there are a lot of us who live around the Gulf Coast area, whether it be, Louisiana, Texas, Florida, areas like that. And even on the eastern side of the seaboard, it's easier to keep track of some of that stuff. So I hope you've enjoyed some of that content. Something else we need to look at that was in the news today is there is currently a ban on sales in AR-15s that's happening in several states. So here's some articles on that. Now understand, it's not saying that you can't own them yet. It is saying that those companies cannot sell those to people any longer. So they can still sell to law enforcement agencies and stuff like that, just not to American citizens, which I don't really agree with. But that is what they passed in those states, guys. And I would highly recommend, if you're in one of those states, maybe it's time to leave that state. When you start seeing states pushing these types of bans and things like that, you have to ask yourself, do you really want to live there? Do you want to be waiting for them to finally make it illegal for you as a private citizen? They tried this once before, if you remember, back during the Obama administration, and they finally made it where they couldn't sell them, and then they made it where you couldn't own them, and then overnight they turned a bunch of people into felons. And then what actually came out of the Supreme Court is that they couldn't do that, and it got overturned, but everyone had already basically been added to the books as felons that were caught, and they did not strike that off of their records. And something else that happened is a lot of people sold those firearms to gun swap exchanges that the counties would put in, just so you can be abiding to the law. So that's what this is. It's just another grab, guys. Understand that. But when the days are coming up ahead, man, we're looking at, for those of us on the eastern coastline in the Gulf of Mexico, we're looking at our most intense season for hurricanes. We're looking at power outages and things like that. And understand, it doesn't take a hurricane for a power outage, as those in this area know. So yesterday we ended up with a power outage that lasted like 6 hours. And what ended up happening is it was raining and some moron hit a pole. I know it's bad to be calling people that when, they've hit a pole or whatever, but the fact is they're not paying attention when they're driving. They're texting on their phones, they're looking in the back seat or playing with who knows what. That's the way drivers are down here. And they cause an accident and it puts everybody in the area out of electricity. So what do you do in that situation? Well, I fire up the generators. You can use different types of systems if you want to, but with hurricane season pushing in, I typically try to make sure that my 90-gallon generator tank is full. And then I also try to make sure that I have at least 20 to 40 gallons on hand as well to, really continue to push you. And that should last about 2.5 to 3 weeks is what I can get out of that. And that's running heavy on the generator, running 2 air conditioning units and, all your appliances and stuff like that. But you're looking at a lot of money for an Onan generator that can pull that kind of power. But if that's something you're interested in, I would definitely have you, recommend Onan. It is a diesel generator. The engine is built by Cummins, so you're going to be getting a good quality thing there. I'm not getting paid to tell you that. These are just what I've experienced. They have Generac and all these other brands and stuff, and they may be okay, but when it comes down to you want something that's going to last, you can't go wrong with diesel, folks. But you got to make sure you keep your filters and stuff changed out on that stuff. Otherwise, you start getting plugged injectors. But hope everyone's had a great day. We're going to get off here. Make sure that you're getting food stockpile. Make sure you're putting back supplies for storm seasons that are coming in. Make sure that you're keeping your batteries charged up, flashlights charged up. And I would recommend keeping water back. I know a lot of people, they like to fill their tubs with water, but what happens if your house loses the roof and it takes your bathrooms out? You need to have secondary supplies as well for all of your supplies. Make sure that you're not just stockpiling one area. It's like the old timer said, don't put all your eggs in one basket. If the bottom falls out of that basket, you've lost all your eggs. So be thinking ahead, be prepared, or die. That's basically what it comes down to. If you're not prepared, you're going to have it hard, and it's going to be a lot of suffering up to the point of death. Hopefully not for us guys, but we're going to have to just wait and see, obviously. And then with the food costs that are going crazy, you can expect to continue to see these prices rise up, is what we're hearing. If you go to npr.org, they have a lot of information on there right now, and they're talking about the food situation in 2023. They have analysts looking into it, and it is looking very bleak, folks. So be getting what you can. Stock that food up to the ceiling. Stock your supplies up, guys. Have a wonderful day.